how did you create the Love Soul stuff and the promotional side of things at university? So you've done this job at Dixon's, and then what happened? So how did you
So
get that up and running?
it's so funny. I played it safe. I didn't want to get into promoting. I was happy to just sell tickets for all the major crews. So the Pakistani guys, I would sell tickets for them. The black guys, I'd sell tickets for them. The Punjabi guys, I'd sell tickets for them. And it was good because I had tickets from everybody. Everybody knew where to come. A few people would put my names on flyers as the ticket guy in a particular building. And it was all good. But there was this one guy called Mustafa Ahmed who was a DJ. And I went into second year and he came into the first year, and he kind of attached himself to me, and he kept playing me this music. He was just like, we. I was like, oh, what the hell is this? And he goes, and then he gives me another tape, and it's like, you just hear like, we're loving it. I was like, who's this? He goes, oh, this is like, this is Sparks and Kai. This is PSG. This is MC Creed. This is, whoever it is. He goes, it's called garage music. And I was like, nah, fuck this, man. I was like, I don't want to hear this shit. Like, I want to hear like straight, I'm from Manchester. I want to hear like straight hood gangster rap, or I want to hear R&B if the girls are around. But he's like, no, man, this is the sound. Then my partner who I was selling tickets with, that summer he came back and he was like, in those days they used to call it speed garage or London garage.
Right. What's the difference?
So I don't know, man. It was just more like, it was like a little bit more like New York, Chicago vocal house stuff, like speed garage. So then anyway, long story short, this DJ is like on at me all the time. Book me a venue. I want to play. He's making me demos. And I'm like, my car is just full of his demos. And then he's like, I want to play. So I spoke to the right guy and I made sure that everything would be cool. And then we booked, DJ Luck and MC Neat drops A Little Bit of Luck.
That's a banger, man. I still play that song these days, man.
Yeah. So we got DJ, we got C Neat. And we booked him and we threw a party and it was all good. I made crazy money. I introduced my then partner to a girl that he was looking at, a Spanish girl. And I knew them both. So I said, yo, you guys should talk. And he went and got her a flower. And now they're married with 2 kids. So
seriously?
Like, yeah.
No way.
It's beautiful, man. Like, and that's how I ended up doing it. And so the name of the crew was called Love Garage. We were like the Love Garage crew. And then when we stopped doing garage nights, and these guys kind of moved, they were studying to be doctors, these little young boys that were working for me. And so when they ended up like really getting deep into their doctor studies, then I was like, well, now that I've learned the game and how it works and I feel safe, I may as well carry on doing this with the music that I love. And so it's called Love Soul. I love anything soulful house, soulful soul, R&B, swing, reggae, lovers rock, northern soul and rock, soulful. So we were called the Love Soul crew. It was me, and I had a singer who's now gone on to be, his name is Merkage Dave on Instagram. Another guy called Shez, whose name was Shez420. And then there was another guy called Taz and TM. We were a crew of about 5 people, and then 3 other dudes that used to like hustle and sell tickets for me. One guy called Rishi Kotecha, who I'm still mad cool with. And, it's just that, then it was Love Soul. And then after the Love Soul crew, then I went to Toronto for a year and a half, me and Rish. Started the first independent ringtones portal out there, ended up doing a TV campaign with Sony.
I saw you on TV, yeah. I've seen that clip.
Yeah, and then came back to London. By that point, I'd created my relationship with Russell Peters. I'd started doing...
How did you do that? Was that formed in Toronto?
That was in Toronto, like Cardinal Official, who I saw freestyling on an old Tim Westwood video. I saw him in a club watching Roots Maneuver. So I went up to him. There's 2 like 6'5" Jamaican dudes.
Bodyguards.
I was like, yo, man, like Cardinal Official, like I saw you freestyle, and I remember you said this on the freestyle. And again, because I grew up in a shop listening to music nonstop, music's just, again, it's like firmware level for me.
Sticks with
so
you.
I can remember producers and lyrics and beats and flows and cadence and stuff like that. So he showed me love. We exchanged numbers. I spoke to him about doing the first vocal ringtone in those days, because Crazy Frog was a big thing in those days. And then we were at a party for Starting From Scratch, who's the greatest DJ of all time, and it's not even close. We were at his 15th anniversary party in the VIP section, and me and Cardi are just chopping it up. And I said, one day I'd love to meet Russell Peters. Russell Peters was hustling in Manchester when I was there as a comedian at the Frog and Bucket. And,
really?
He was getting big then with that.
No, he only got big post I think Comedy Now, where he said somebody going to get hurt, and then
Real bad. Yeah.
Wasn't-
yeah. So
Wasn't
he got
that
big
around the
opportunity.
same time, or am I getting confused? Because I remember when I saw the videos of you doing that with him, and that stand up of somebody's going to get hurt was him in like a white t-shirt
White shirt.
and jeans.
Yeah.
White shirt, yeah.
Sorry, the white shirt and jeans, and that came out about 05, 06, I think. I could be massively
Yeah, that
off
might
there
have come out
what time it
04,
is.
05, but I think I already knew about Russell because I used to go to some bars, like even the Comedy Store in Manchester used to have Russell's picture above the bar,
wow.
and he was like the only brown
Okay.
guy. So I used to look at him and be like, my God, like that's incredible. That's in the early 2000s. So yeah, Cardi was like, yo, no problem, man. Russell's like my homeboy. So he walks me out of the VIP section through the crowd. You head over to the other side of the bar, and Russell, as usual, has got a drink in his hand, talking to some beautiful girl. And Cardi brings me and Russell back over to the VIP section, and then we get to talking. Russell then says, you need to talk to my brother Clayton. Clayton, who I think is one of the greatest thinkers of all time, and still a mentor to me. Said, yeah, well, we tried to do the ringtone deal. I can't even remember the reason why we didn't do it. Maybe because I moved back to the UK. But then I reached out to him. I was at Center Parcs, and I heard that Russell might be coming over to do a 1,200 seat show in King's Cross. And I reached out to Clayton, and Clayton said, yeah, we can do an after party. And then, it just snowballed from there. We were the Lovesoul DJs. Vic joined me as a solo DJ, and we became a DJ duo. And then we were doing a few shows locally in and around Northwest London and Leicester. And then I think the Russell Peters moment is where it really freaking tipped.
When he
The whole of Manchester had moved to London. So the whole of Manchester came out for that show. Like when I say Manchester, I mean Northwest London, because Northwest London is Manchester. And then they all came out for it. And then we did a second Russell Peters after party. And then we did the Mobo Awards. And then people started seeing us around with Wu-Tang Clan and I think Farside and a few other people. Like it just snowballed, man. Like that time was a crazy time, guys. Like the blogging era, that 2000 to 2010 was a wild time, a wild time. It's hard to explain what it was like to be hustling in those days. And that was, by the way, that was 5 minutes ago. That was 11 years ago. We're not even talking about that.
Why did you stop that though? Because things were going so well for you. Like just hearing this now, it sounds like things were going really, really, really well. You were meeting so many new people. You were branching out massively. Lovesoul's growing even more and more. Why stop?
David fucking Guetta. David Guetta.
Right, okay.
David Guetta, Mark Ronson.
One-line answer.
Mark Ronson, Bob Sinclair, and all of these cats, Calvin Harris. It was my 30th birthday. We had a party. I threw a party like I did because I was such a flashy motherfucker. Threw a party for 600 people in Abbey Bar in London, free of charge, Brazilian dancers, indoor fireworks. My parents are in the VIP section with me, so they finally see for the first time after 12 years of being in the game what I do. And I remember looking at this whole thing and being like, firstly, it might not get better than this. And secondly, DJs are now putting out their own records. So Calvin and David and Bob and all these guys now start putting out their own records. So I said to Vic, I was like, look, I'm going to need to change on my 30th birthday from DJ Raj Lovesoul to Raj Kotecha. So I started peppering my real name back into it because I was like, look, the older you get as a DJ, if you're not producing and putting out hit records, you get older and older and older and less relevant.
Wow.
But the older you get as a consultant, the more valuable you become.
Absolutely.
So then I started spending a lot more time talking about the agency, a lot more time talking about strategy. I already had 1 or 2 interviews with Gary Vaynerchuk under my belt, interviews where there's just only 3 of us in a room, or there's 5 of us in a room, and then we walk down Liverpool Street and get Mexican food, and nobody bothers Gary because no one knows who he is. And we're recording the Crush It video launch on 8mm tape. And,
what year is this?
Huh?
What year was that? When nobody knew who Gary Vee was?
That would be 08. 08 / maybe twice in 08 or 08 and into 09.
Wow. History.
So Gary was to the agency what Russell was to Lovesoul. There were these kind of tipping point moments where certain dudes through luck or just maybe just even feeling sorry for us, they just stood next to us and they gave us a little bit of their light. And then, me, if you give me a little light, I've got a magnifying glass in my back pocket. I'll take that light and stretch it and then try and make it glow a lot longer. It's easy to become a hot boy in London. It takes 3 years. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it took 3 years from me landing there I landed there, I think in end of Christmas Day 04. So call it, basically Jan 1 05. And by 2008, I did my birthday party in the Gherkin for like 500 people free of charge. So like, you just got to you got to look at all these opportunities and just keep going, and actually have the ambition, have the audacity to do this shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I came from, my parents loved me and I never missed a meal, but I came from like, missing Christmases and having plastic on the windows because we couldn't afford double glazing and we couldn't see through the plastic when someone was stealing our car, or like not going on school trips, right? So, I mean, and at the same time, I'm going through all that, and I'm, kind of like feeling that, as a teenager, as a kid, that shit hurts. You don't understand why you can't have stuff like the rest of these kids have, like the rest of these white kids have.